Dun, da, da. It is a beautiful Zen garden, and this has been sent in by Amber. And if you look closely, you can see the wonderful temple. You can see there's a little koi, a carp, the little fish swimming in the water there. There's a wonderful bridge right over the river, and some lovely trees, a beautiful gentle tree right there. Oh. And a Zen garden is, of course, a place of meditation and peace and calm. And you can see here, there's even there's a Buddha down there as well. And we already had a story about a Buddha. And if you missed that one, then you could probably go back and check on some of the films, some of the videos that have already been posted. Hello to Ayla and Mila. Hi, Mira. Hi, Marine. Good to see you back. So that is our first picture today. The second picture... Dum, 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 dum. Ooh, this is in from Joshua. And if you look, well, I don't need to explain this. I think that we can all see it's a beautiful building, a very colorful building. And Joshua is 5 years old. And yeah, he's done a magnificent piece of art here. Lots of colors and colorful characters right there as well. So let's see how this is going to feature in our story today. And last but not least, we have got a picture in from Mia. And Mia is Amber's little sister. So what have we got? It is a beautiful cat. And the cat is apparently peeping through some curtains. So how are we going to thread all of these things together? Hello, Uta. Thank you very much for joining us. I think Daniel might be there as well. So greetings to you both. So I think that we are going to start our little story with... the cat. You see, once upon a time, there was a little cat. And this little cat lived with a family. And the family, well, let's just say that they were perhaps not the quietest, calmest family. They loved jumping around, they loved dancing, they loved yelling, making noise, singing, and having a great old time. They had a big fire and the smoke would sometimes pour out of their house. They loved going into the garden and playing and running around. And my goodness, okay, it looks to me, I don't know if the little dog is raising its little leg, but yes, they had a little pet dog too. And the dog would sometimes go and pee against the tree that was right by the side of the house. And the cat, well, sometimes the cat got a little bit tired. And she thought to herself, goodness, this place is crazy. These people are driving me mad. I just want a bit of peace and calm and quiet. Oh, what am I going to do? Where am I going to go? So the little cat peeped through the curtains, and as she looked around, she saw far away in the distance a place that had no smoke. There didn't seem to be any children running around. There was hardly any noise, so she decided to go and pay it a visit. And of course, she soon arrived at the Zen garden. And she went into that garden and she wandered everywhere. There was gravel that had been shaped into waves that felt all wonderful and calm and peaceful. Oh, there was a little tree, and there were no other cats or children climbing up and down, no. So she went and she snuggled at the bottom and she fell asleep and she snoozed and she thought, yes, this is the life. She woke up. She went and played with the little fish in the pond. She went for a little walk and discovered every single part of that beautiful Zen garden. But after a while she thought, this is very, very quiet. And I don't know if I want it to be that quiet all the time. I mean, I quite miss my crazy family. I quite miss the sound of laughter, and I miss the shouting, and I miss the chaos, and I miss people pushing me here and pushing me there, and I quite like a little bit of chaos. And so she decided that perhaps she should go back. So she went back to her family, and when they saw her, oh, they went mad. Oh, the cat is back. Oh, and they tickled her and scratched her and played with her. And the little cat, well, oh, she loved it. And she thought, actually, a little bit of chaos isn't so bad, but it is important to find that place where you can find a little bit of peace. And so to this day, if you ever find yourselves in a little Zen garden, then have a little look out, and if you do see a little cat, then this probably Mia's cat, just enjoying a little bit of peace and quiet. So that is my story for you today. Ha! And hello to Kayla and Kian and Tina who have just joined us. And I can see Karen there giving us a little wave. So hello to you all. And oh, Annie MacArthur is there watching as well from a distance. So hello everybody. So the story that I am going to tell today is a story from Asia. And it is a country that begins with the letter C. I'll give you a couple of seconds to guess. Yeah, can you think of a country in Asia that begins with C? CH? CHI? China. Yes. And today, well, the last couple of days, what we have been doing at home while we have been on lockdown is that Imani, who is my 12-year-old girl, she has been making some food, and the food comes from a different country. So we had Mexican food the other day, and her job was to also find out some facts about Mexico. And so because our story is from China, I thought that maybe we could also have a little bit of Chinese learning, I suppose. So just one word, and I'm sure some of you might already know. Does anybody know how to say hello in Mandarin? Any ideas? Let's see if some of these comments. Do you say hello? Do you shake hands? Do you just wave? Anybody know the word? Ooh, oh, oh. Do you say jambo? Nope, that is Kenyan. Konnichiwa? Nope. Japanese? Ni hao. So if you ever find yourselves in China and you're in a place where they speak Mandarin, then ni hao is the way to go. Hey, I've got Helena, she is saying it. Oh, Ayla has also got it. Fantastic. Hey, everybody knows this. So, ni hao to you all. So my story happened a long time ago. And there was an emperor. And this emperor was a wonderful emperor. He was kind, he loved his people, and he tried his hardest to make sure that even the lowliest of people felt that they were useful, and he tried to make sure that they were all very, very happy. But the emperor, he was getting old, and he began to worry about what was going to happen to his people in the future, because he had one son. And his son, well, he wasn't the most natural of leaders. You see, he was a little bit lazy. And I know that nobody watching is a little bit lazy, are you? He was also a little bit greedy. In fact, no, he wasn't a little bit. He was very, very greedy. He wanted everything all the time, and he wanted it now, now, now. And his father despaired. He thought, what on earth am I going to do? How can I train this man to become the next emperor? So he told him stories. He got the best teachers to come in and teach him how to behave. He took him for trips out into the countryside, and he would meet with the villagers, and he would meet with the aristocracy. He would meet with every kind of person. And this way, he thought, his father thought, this way he'll learn how to behave with people. But he got older and older, and the son, he couldn't wait to become the next emperor. He thought of all the riches that he could accumulate. He thought of the incredible power that he would have. He could do anything whenever he wanted. And he waited and he waited, and his father became older and older until the day came when he passed away and the son took power. Now, you would hope that when he took power, suddenly he would have a vision and everything would change, and he would see the good work that had happened before him, and he would take that good work and carry it on. But he didn't. He was so lazy. He got up late. He went to bed early. He was greedy, and so he just commanded everyone to bring him this and bring him that. And whenever he went out into the countryside, if he saw a beautiful forest, he thought, yep, I like that. It's mine. And he would order the people who lived around the forest to stop going into it. And sometimes he would order the army to go and chop down the wood so they could construct wonderful, beautiful houses for himself. And the people were aghast, and they said, oh, please, Emperor, don't chop down the trees. Where are the birds and the animals going to go? What about the bees who live in there and give us honey? What are we going to do? But the emperor, he didn't care about things like that. He said to the people, "I am your emperor. You will respect me, you will love me, and you will do as I say." And the people had no choice but to obey. If he happened to be riding by a beautiful river and he saw a lovely little village right on the banks, he thought, this is a great spot for fishing. I am going to turn this into a place where my friends and I can come and enjoy ourselves at the weekend. And he would order the villagers to leave and go and find another piece of land and settle down somewhere else. And the villagers complained and said, but Emperor, we have been here for hundreds of years. This is the only home that we have ever known. Please don't chase us away. We rely on the fish for our livelihood. What are we going to do? But the emperor, he said, "I am your emperor. You will respect me, you will love me, and you will do as I say." And the villagers had no choice but to leave their village and go off and find somewhere else to go. Day after day, the emperor came out with ridiculous laws. And soon the people, well, they were very unhappy. They became poorer and poorer. They began to suspect each other, and soon there was chaos in the country. But the emperor hardly noticed a thing. All he thought of was, "I am the emperor. I am the most wonderful, the mightiest, the richest, the finest, and everybody will love and respect me." But one day, he suddenly got the feeling that perhaps the people did not love and respect him as much as they had done his father. And this annoyed him. He thought, "I am much better than my father ever was. I am a perfect emperor. I love things of beauty. I don't care about what everybody else thinks. I want people to remember me as the finest, mightiest emperor that ever lived." And so he began to think about how this might happen. What would be his legacy? And he had it. You see, right up in his land, there were the most beautiful mountains, snow-peaked caps, wonderful, calm and quiet. And some people thought it was a very holy place. And he thought, if I could build a temple high up in those mountains, the most magnificent temple that has ever been built in the history of the world, then people will certainly remember me forever. And if I can fill that temple with the most exquisite, magnificent, beautiful artworks, then the people will say, "Yes, this was truly a great man." And so he started the construction of the temple. And the people who lived in the country were amazed as these carts and horses began to heave logs and stone all the way up the steep side of the mountain. And then his army began to construct and build. And as it went up, the people were in awe. It was truly beautiful. The columns were carved and ornate. It was beautiful marble inside. Even the wood that had been brought there was sculpted to perfection. And when the emperor thought it was finished, he went in and he looked around and he thought, "Yes, this is a truly beautiful temple." But it was missing something. And he thought, it's beautiful on the outside, but the inside is quite ordinary actually. I've seen all these kind of artworks before and nothing excites me, nothing thrills me. I want my heart to leap with joy. I want people to come and I hope that they don't breathe because they've seen something so wonderful. And he set a competition. He sent word out to the country that the artists were to come, and the person who could propose the most exquisite, marvelous, beautiful piece of art would be very handsomely rewarded. And so the word went out and the proposals came flying in. And the emperor, he would look at these proposals. Ha! Rubbish, seen this one before. A statue of me? Ha! I've got thousands of them already. Paintings? Tapestries? No. Come on, surely somebody must be able to give me something interesting at the very least. And so people tried their hardest, but none of the ideas were accepted or appreciated or considered by the emperor, until they slowly started to stop coming in. And the emperor thought, What is this? Surely we have a nation of people with ideas. Surely somebody has got some imagination, some skill, some talent. And so he asked his advisors, he said, look, can you guys not suggest somebody? And so one advisor said, well, there is an old man who lives right at the very edge of this empire, in a tiny little village. He's a poor man, but I have heard that his wood carvings are the most incredible things that exist on the face of this planet. Huh? Really? How come he hasn't approached me? How come he hasn't proposed anything? Maybe he hasn't heard. Maybe we could send some messengers and then we could bring him here and you could tell him what you want. Do that! Go and fetch him now! And so the messengers went off to the furthest reaches of the empire. They found the little village. They found the old man. And when they told him what the emperor wanted, he said, no, I'm sorry, I cannot help you. Well, they were amazed and they went back to the emperor. And when the emperor heard that this little old man had said no, how do you think he felt? He was furious, outraged. His eyes just about popped out of his head and he said, what? How dare this man behave in such a way? How could he think of speaking to me like this? I am the emperor. He will respect me, he will love me, and he will do as I say. Go and bring him here now. And so the messengers went back and they brought the old man against his will, but the old man stood in front of the emperor and his head was lowered to the ground because he knew that the emperor could be very, very cruel. And the emperor said, I want you to create artwork for this temple, something that people will remember me for eternity, and you'll start tomorrow. And the old man, he said, I'm really, really sorry, but I'm afraid I cannot help you. I'm sorry, Emperor, I can't do it. The emperor had never had anybody say no to him, and he couldn't believe it. He ordered for somebody to come and whip the old man. But the people were afraid because they respected their elders. And because they had no choice, they had to do what the emperor said. He raised his arm with the whip and he was just about to bring it down when the emperor said, listen, old man, if you refuse me one more time, then not only will you suffer, but your family will suffer, your village will suffer, your descendants will suffer forever. Do as I say. And the old man, when he thought about how it wasn't just his life at stake, but the lives of everyone he cared about, he thought, well, okay, I will do something for you, something wonderful. However, I need 6 months to do it. You must build a wall around the temple so that nobody can see what I am up to. You will put a little hole near the ground, and through that hole you will push my food and my water, but nobody must disturb me for 6 months. The emperor agreed, and the wall started to go up. The fence grew tall and high, and nobody could penetrate it at all. And every day the food and water was placed through the hole, and the emperor, he would pace around this fence, thinking, what is going on inside? But all he could hear was shk, 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 bum, 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 shk, 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 bum, bum, bum. And oh, he was desperate to know. His curiosity was aroused. 6 months was a long time to wait. But the months started to fly by. 5 months, 4 months, 3, 2, 1 month. Then it was just a matter of weeks, 4 weeks and 3 weeks, then 2 weeks, then 1 week, then just a few days. Oh, he started to count them down. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, the day after tomorrow. Tomorrow I will see what the old man has created. And tomorrow arrived. And the emperor raced towards the fence, to the gate, and he heard the old man open it from inside. The door opened and immediately the emperor raced in. He headed for the center of the temple and he was so excited he could hardly breathe. He opened one eye and then another. And around him were 4 magnificent sculptures, one on each wall of the temple. And they were dragons but they were so lifelike. The claws were sharp. The wings were wrapped around the marble columns. Oh, those beautiful scales looked so polished. You could see the yellow and the green and the brown amber and the gold reflecting throughout. And he could hardly believe it, hardly contain his excitement, when suddenly he's noticed something. Not one of the dragons had any eyes. And he turned to the old man and he said, 6 months I gave you. 6 months, and these dragons are not complete. Where are their eyes? And the old man, he said, I'm really sorry, but it is finished. It is complete. I cannot put eyes on the dragons, because if the dragons see the state of what our country has become, they will not be happy. And the emperor, he said, are you refusing me again? I am your emperor. You will respect me. You will love me. You will do as I say. And the old man had no choice. He took his tools. He went over to one wall, over to the face of the dragon, and he started to work. Chika, 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 pam, pam, pam. Chika, 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 pam, pam, pam. He chiseled away and he started to carve out an orb that would be the eyeball of the dragon. He carved the eyelids and the eyelashes, and the emperor, he looked on in wonder. And slowly but surely the eye began to emerge. And when it had finished, the old man stepped down off his ladder into the center of the room, and he trembled and he shook. And the emperor was delighted. Yes, it's perfect. It's more beautiful than I had ever imagined it would be. It is amazing. But then suddenly, the ground began to tremble and shake. And the emperor, he looked up at the dragon and he saw that eye blink. His eyes widened and he took a few paces back. And he saw the dragon begin to peel itself off the wall. The wings began to unwrap from around the columns. The claws began to flex. It opened its jaws. It stretched and its whole body peeled off the wall. It shook its mighty neck. It opened both eyes and it looked around the room, and its eyes fixated on the emperor. It opened its mouth and it roared a mighty roar. Flames began to emerge and licked up across onto the ceiling and the walls. And then it approached the emperor. It raised its mighty wings. It seized the emperor in its claws, lifted him up, and it began to fly out of the open doors, over and over that fence, and high away into the mountains. And the emperor, well, he was never seen again. And there is a place high up in the mountains of China, and there is a temple, and some say it's the most beautiful temple that they have ever seen. But if you go into that temple, people are surprised because on 3 walls there are beautiful wooden sculptures of dragons, and not a single one of them has any eye. But on the 4th wall, it seems as if there was nothing at all. The plaster is peeling off the wall, and there's a trace that perhaps there was something there, but certainly it's not there anymore. And that is the story that people tell of the emperor who lived oh so long ago. And that is my story for you today. So I hope that you enjoyed it. And I hope that nobody out there is as lazy and greedy as that terrible, terrible emperor. But yes, if you did enjoy that story, please do tell your friends, share. I'm still going to be telling stories at 7 o'clock every night for the duration that we are kept inside. Nice to see you, Frida and Sammy, watching just now. And yes, Emma says, climate emperor. Well, he climbed and he built, and it was a disaster. But yes, hello to Chimezi, and yes, I'm glad that you all love the story. And yes, I shall be seeing you tomorrow for another one. So thank you very much, and please do share, and see you tomorrow. Bye bye.